Hi guys, I think I'm live now. Please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me. If everything looks good, then we are going to start today's session. Today's session I think will be a very useful topic for all of you. We will be discussing the expected LRDI sets. These expected LRDI sets, I'm going to give you my opinion based on the previous papers from the last 4-5 years. So I've analyzed all the slots LRDI sections from CAT 2018 till CAT 2021. And I've made a list of what I feel are the important topics. What are the patterns that I see of the LRDI sets that are being asked. If you want to do something similar, a similar analysis, which will help you quite a lot, I would recommend you to download the PDFs of all the CAT previous papers. So just Google search Krakow CAT previous papers and you'll be getting the first link. Click on it, go to the Krakow site. There we have a drop-down list of all the slots of CAT previous year's papers completely for free. You can download the PDF and you can attempt the LRDI sections. Now, please do like the stream. We have close to 50 people who are watching the stream live and we have only 39 likes. I want to get to at least 125 likes before the session ends. Then it will be something where I feel the session was useful to people. They have liked the session. That is what I want. Now, before I answer the questions, actually I'll answer a couple of questions. Then I'll let you know what my thoughts are on the expected LRDI sets. Let me see if there are any questions. Kash is saying, sir, if you can share the PDFs of this session too. I'm traveling and can't watch the stream in peace. If you're traveling and if you can't watch it, then this stream will be uploaded on our CAT MBA channel. So you can watch this stream later on also. So that shouldn't be an issue. If you have any doubts with respect to your CAT preparation, please feel free to ask in the chat. Now let us look at today's session. The topic for today, like I have mentioned, are the important LRDI sets that have to be expected. If you analyze the slots from CAT 2018 till now, there are certain patterns that you see. One of the patterns that I see, especially amongst the sets which are attemptable, are charts. So there are different types of charts. I would recommend each one of you to do at least a few of these charts on a regular basis. What are the kind of charts that I'm talking about? One is pie charts, the other one is line charts, the next is bar charts, and you also have spider webs. So there were actually questions that were asked from spider webs in 2019, and from line charts and bar charts they come very often, as well as pie charts. So every year in every slot there will be at least one set in charts. Now in my opinion, somebody who has not a lot of experience in preparation will also be able to attempt these charts questions quite easily if he or she has practiced well. So definitely note down whatever I'm saying. One is pie charts, the other one is line charts. Line charts is basically a graph which has a line and you'll have to read the data. A pie chart will have a circle and a circle will have different sectors. Each sector will have a different angle, and based on the angle you get the ratio of that particular parameter. So pie charts, line charts and bar charts. Bar charts is basically you have an x-axis and a y-axis. You will have lines which the length of the line along the y-axis will represent the value of that particular parameter. So anyway, figure it out, bar charts. And finally spider webs. Spider webs is also a very important topic because it is slightly more complicated. Somebody who hasn't solved spider web sets will definitely be a little confused on the day of the examination. So I would recommend you to do a few sets of spider web also. If you are very comfortable in reading these graphs, there is a very good chance at least one set will be asked and you will get that set correct. So these are the easiest things, easiest sets in my opinion, which you should be very comfortable with. Before I go to the next sets which can be expected, let me see if there are any questions that are asked. Guys, we have more than 100 people who are watching the stream live. Please do like the stream. The Apple, somebody is asking how much you score for 100% and in DILR also. Normally to score 100 percentile, you need to do very well in all the three sections, and in one section you should completely ace it. The section I want to always ace is Quant, where I try to target 100% marks. So I want to get full in Quant, and I got it once in CAT 2019. In CAT 2020 and CAT 2021 I got one question wrong, so I lost some marks, but again I was very close to getting full marks in Quant. In LRDI, out of 4 sets, I have to at least get 2 sets for sure correct, and in the remaining 2 sets I have to get at least some questions correct. So I'm trying to maximize my marks. I'm not looking to get 3 sets correct completely. What I try to do in LRDI is first the easiest set that I mentioned. I try to get that set correct because then it eases a lot of pressure on my head. Once I get one set correct in the first 10 minutes, I have 30 more minutes and I need to get one more set correct. Once I get, that is what I look at. I see that if I can get 2 sets correct, then I'm still in the running to get a very good percentile. And when I approach the examination with that mindset, most likely I'll get the second set also correct, and then I'll be left with around 10 to 15 minutes. Then I have 2 sets, and I don't think I'll be able to get both the sets correct. I don't think I'll be able to get even one set correct. But then I look at the set, I look at each of the questions that are there, and some questions I'll be able to get, or sometimes I'll be able to guess what the answer is. So that way I try to get some more questions, individual questions correct. Like this happened to me in CAT 2021 in both the sets. In the remaining 2 sets, I got the first set and the second set correct, but the third and the fourth set I was completely stuck. So in both the sets, I knew that there were 2 cases possible. For example, in say the third set, I knew that it is either case A or case B. Now, if I thought about it better and if I was able to figure out the logic, then I would have been able to rule out one case, and the answer is say the first case. But I was not able to figure out whether it is case A or case B on the day of the examination. Now time was running out, so what I did was I answered 3 questions assuming that the correct answer is case A, and I answered 3 questions assuming that the correct answer is case B. This way I knew that I was at least getting 3 questions correct, and luckily for me, in case A and case B there was some overlap. So for example, in both the cases, say the person with the highest score was say particular person P. Now because I was following case A, even though the correct answer was case B, I was getting that one extra question correct. So this way, in both the sets, the third set and the fourth set, I was getting 4 questions correct. So luckily, I was able to get a lot of marks. But again, it is not just plain luck. If you think about it, there was also a strategy involved. The strategy was that I was not able to get a breakthrough. I was not able to figure out whether it is case A or case B. So I answered some questions assuming that case A is correct and some questions assuming case B is correct. These are strategies that you use, and these are intuitions that you develop if you take a lot of mocks. So this is another thing that I would recommend you to do. Before I answer some more questions, let me tell you what I think next is the next thing that you should focus on. The next thing I would recommend you to focus on, some of the sets that are often asked, are table-based LRDI sets. Table-based LRDI sets often come as 2 different aspects. One aspect is something like a Sudoku, where you are told that okay, there are like say 5 people and they have taken an examination, and in the examination there are say 5 subjects, and each one of them got a different grade in each of the subject, and you are given certain clues. So essentially you are getting a 5 cross 5 matrix, and you will have to fill that entire table up. Somebody who has solved Sudokus will be able to easily get that table correct. Those are some kind of sets that are asked. Not exactly in this manner, but basically something like a Sudoku. Another type of table-based LRDI sets that are often asked are basically based on ratio and proportion. So you are told that there are certain men and women in say 2 different sections, and you are given some information about the number of men in a particular section, number of women in a particular section, and there are even other parameters. You are told that say for example men are say engineers and women are say non-engineers, some men are engineers, some men are non-engineers. So basically you are given some data about how each of these parameters is related to the other. For that you have to draw a particular table. It will not be a very big table like a 5 cross 5 table like I mentioned earlier, but you will have smaller tables. You will have a 2 cross 2 table, and you will have 3 or 4 such tables. One table will represent the engineers from men. One table will represent the non-engineers, men and women, those kind of things. Now to answer these kind of sets, you should be very comfortable with ratio and proportion. You should be very comfortable about how to correlate or connect the information that is given in one table to that of the other table. So some of the quant concepts that I would recommend you to revise very thoroughly are ratio and proportion, linear equations. These 2 are definitely important when you are answering the table-based LRDI sets. Some of the table-based LRDI sets. In addition to it, and a completely separate LRDI set that is often asked is with respect to permutations and combinations. That also is something that I would recommend you to definitely go through, and you should at least be thorough with the basics. You need not be able to answer very difficult questions, but sometimes LRDI sets involve permutations and combinations. So you should be very clear about how to solve the permutations and combinations sets, at least when there is a repetitions involved. For example, a simple question that can be asked is, there is a password. The password has to be 5 letters long, and the only 4 characters can be used, like say A, B, C, D, and 1 character can be repeated. So how many such passwords can be formed? And there will be some more conditions that are given. Conditions are like vowel should be used only once, or there can be a maximum of 2 vowels or 3 consonants. So some more additional conditions are given, and you are asked to figure out how many passwords are possible. So those kind of things essentially involve the basics of permutations and combinations. You should not be very worried about it. You should not be you should not have any phobia for permutations and combinations. So that is the reason I would recommend you to go through permutations and combinations also. Just reiterating, for the table-based sets, for some of the table-based sets, you should be fairly comfortable with ratio and proportion and linear equations. You should know how to use these concepts to solve the problems that are given in LRDIs. And for different types of LRDIs, again another quant concept is useful, which is permutations and combinations. Before we go further, let me answer a few questions and then I will continue. We have more than 130 people who are watching this stream live. Guys, please do like the stream. Okay, please discuss CET also. How to improve in DILR, sir? Please guide. Mitesh Arora is saying how to improve in DILR. One of the things that I would recommend students to do if they want to improve in DILR is the first step. This I repeat quite often and I'm going to repeat it again because it is very, very important. One of the first things you should do if you are very serious about improving in LRDI is downloading the PDFs of previous papers of CAT from say CAT 2017 or 2018. Download all the PDFs. All of these PDFs are available for free on our Krakow website. Just Google search Krakow CAT previous papers, download the PDFs, put them in a folder. Every single day at least answer 2 LRDI sets. Take as much time as you want. Don't worry about solving this in 15 minutes. If you are making some progress, if you are able to achieve some progress, give yourself more time. Because even if you solve an LRDI set from a previous paper by taking 30-40 minutes, you will gain confidence. And that confidence is very, very important. And for some reason, if you are not able to make any headway, if you feel that, okay, I've got stuck here, I'm not progressing, then in our PDFs, there is a button. And if you click on the button, you will be automatically redirected to a YouTube page where you can actually watch the video solution. That I think is the first step, and it is going to take you some time. Because if you are looking at the LRDIs from all the previous papers, there will be at least, say every year, every slot, there are say 5 sets. Into 3 is 15 sets, 3 slots. And in the last 4-5 years, so around say 50 to 60 LRDIs you have to solve. If you are solving 2 LRDIs every day, it is going to take you 25 days. If you are solving more than that, it will take you at least 15 to 20 days. That I think is a very good and very efficient way of using your time. It will also make you gain confidence. That I think is the first step. The second step is solving the Krakow daily targets. Krakow daily targets are a very, very good source of excellent quality LRDIs. And all of these LRDIs have video solutions. So definitely do check out the Krakow daily targets. These are 2 things that I would recommend you to do if you want to improve in LRDI. You would have already guessed, my theory is that you have to practice LRDIs for you to improve in LRDI. You can't just watch a video without actually trying first. So the best way to improve is by solving as many LRDIs as you can. Saurav Mukherjee is saying, is associated pie charts expected this year? So that's what I'm saying. I'm quite certain that there will be at least 1 question from charts. That has happened every year in every slot from CAT 2018. If you don't believe me, you can download the PDF and you can see it for yourself. What are the kind of charts that are asked? There are different types of charts that are asked. Sometimes pie charts are asked. Pie charts involve a circle and there are different sectors, and each sector will have a particular angle. The angle will represent the quantity of that particular whatever parameter. The second thing is line charts. Line charts is basically like a line which is kind of parallel to the x-axis, which represents the height or the quantity at a particular moment. You can actually read about it. The third one is bar charts. Bar charts will be lines which are perpendicular to the x-axis, and the length of that line will represent the quantity of that particular parameter. And the last thing which was asked in CAT 2019 is spiderweb. Spiderweb, in my opinion, is slightly complicated. Not very complicated. If you have some experience, you will be able to answer it. But if you are seeing a spiderweb for the first time, you might get flummoxed. And in my opinion, at least serious CAT aspirants should definitely get the charts question correct. So these are the often asked type of charts questions which I would want you to go through quite regularly. Vinayak Chaturvedi is saying, is Krakow marks are worth it for 99.9 percentile? See, in general, I would recommend you to not target 99.9 percentile because that is just putting yourself under a lot of pressure. Normally, that wouldn't work for me. That wouldn't work for many of the people. Just try to do your best and improve your percentile across all the sections. And if you're actually getting 99.9 percentile, then I think in the mocks, then I think you can aim for a very high percentile. But Krakow mocks, I can tell you, are very good mocks. We have put in a lot of effort. We analyze the previous papers very thoroughly, and we put in a lot of effort to try to ensure that our mocks are as close to the expected paper as possible. So definitely do check out the Krakow mocks. Rishi is saying, sir, how to handle TITA questions if you want to make a guess? There are some TITA questions which you can get correct. It depends on if you read the paragraph, if you read the LRDI set. I think this happened in CAT 2020. There was one LRDI set which involved some high-low score. It was a game, and the game is played by two people, and they play around I think 5 or 6 rounds. And the TITA questions involved something like in which round did a particular guy beat a particular person. Now, I read the high-low that set, but I was not making any progress. To be really honest, I was not really understanding how the game is played because there was a lot of time pressure. I was also nervous during the examination, and there were like say 5 to 10 minutes left, and for some reason my mind went blank. I was not able to really understand the rules of the game. But what I was able to figure out is that this game is played over 6 rounds, and there were 2 TITA questions which involved in which round is this particular guy going to beat another particular guy in a particular case. So I knew that that answer has to be some number between 1 to 6, and you know that the answer will not be the first round. It can be the first round, but most likely the answer, if you think about it, will be either 3 or 4, because it won't be either very close to the start or very close to the end. So I put 3 as one and 4 as the other, and I got both of them correct. And again, that is, you can say it is luck. Most of it is actually luck, but also there is some strategy involved where you know that first of all, you should attempt every TITA question. There will be TITA questions that are definitely asked, and when you're attempting the TITA question also, you should kind of think from the perspective of the paper setter. The paper setter most likely for this kind of a question is not going to give you the answer to be the first round. I think there was a TITA question which I got correct along similar lines even in CAT 2021. This involved some rating that was given to a particular guy. No, I think this I got wrong. Rating that was given to a particular guy, and I had to figure out what is the lowest rating that this guy got across 5 customers. There were 5 customers, they rated him across different parameters, and basically in that table I had to figure out what is the lowest number. Now I was not able to fill the entire table up, but I got 5 in one of the cells, and out of 10 I was getting 5, and all the remaining numbers are actually more than 5. So again I took a guess that 5 will be the lowest number, and I put 5, but actually one of the cells was even 4. So there I got it wrong. But again, if you think about it, there are many TITA questions that you can actually get correct if you even make some headway into the set. You need not get the entire set correct, but if you're making some headway, if you're understanding the set, you can make educated guesses. And when you're making educated guesses, sometimes you get the sets correct. Okay. Aish Kumar is saying, can you explain how the crash course is planned and what's the total duration of videos across the section? Krakow's crash course, the 3-month crash course that we are launching, is extremely good. The way it is launched is that when you enroll to our crash course, every day you get a mail which will tell you what you have to read every single day. So for example, if you enroll tonight, tomorrow morning at around 8:30 you get a mail. In the mail you will be given the assignments. We'll tell you that today you have to watch this video. And when you click on the link, you are redirected to the video. You are required to watch the video. After every video, we'll be asking you to take a test, which is based on the video that you have watched. Because we believe in active learning. Once you watch a video, you have to solve some questions. Only then will you gain the confidence that you have learned something in the video. So every day you will be getting a list of videos you have to watch, a list of tests you have to take. And in addition to it, you will be also given tasks about doing certain mocks during the weekend or taking some sectionals during the weekend. So essentially it is a schedule driven process, and you have to just stick to the schedule. Because there are only 3 months left, we expect you to put in at least 3 to 4 hours on a consistent basis every single day. This is how the crash course is designed. In my opinion, it is a very good crash course, one of the best that is there when you are preparing for CAT. Okay, let me look at the next kind of questions. The next sets which are often asked are arrangements. What exactly are arrangements? Arrangements basically involve something like there are 5 friends, all of them are meeting in a particular place for some vacation, all of them have come from different cities, all of them have different jobs in different companies, and you are given a list of clues. The clues will help you figure out who has come from which city, which company is he working from. These are Einstein's puzzles, these are arrangements. Now these are, in my opinion, very easy. You might again get nervous, but many times these can be actually solved when you are reiterating through all the clues. The whole point is you have to first draw a table. Once you draw a table, you go through all the clues, and if there is any direct information that you can put into the table, you put it. If there is no information that you can put into the table, you again reiterate through all the clues, because now some parts of the table are filled. So now you can actually, when you read a clue, you will be able to make some more headway. Essentially, if say the 5th clue is that, okay, this guy Ramesh is from Kolkata, and the first clue actually tells you that the person who is from Kolkata is driving a BMW. Now when you read the first clue, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you. You don't know who is from Kolkata, you don't know who has a BMW. So you just ignore it, you go to the next clue. But once you come to the 5th clue and you know that, okay, Ramesh is from Kolkata, in the table you are going to put Kolkata in the same row as Ramesh. Then when you are reiterating through all the clues, now you know that, okay, Ramesh is from Kolkata and he rides a BMW. So once you continue to do this, another important skill you should have is kind of figuring out what are the clues that are important. Sometimes you get direct information from a clue. Like I just mentioned, the 5th clue, say for example, says that Ramesh is from Kolkata. Once you use that clue, there is nothing more that you can derive from that clue. So over there, I put a cross mark that, okay, this is done. I don't need to come back to this clue when I'm reiterating through all the clues. But sometimes you are given some more information. Sometimes the clues are very interesting. They might actually say that, okay, there are say 3 people who come from the same city, the city whose first letter starts and the letter of their name start with the same alphabet. Something on those lines where you feel that, okay, even though I figure out that say Kumar is from Kolkata, there is some more information. I have to figure out 2 more guys. Say some Charan is from Chennai, something like that. So you know that that clue, even if some part of the table is filled, has more potential. So I have to keep thinking about that particular clue. So those kind of important clues, I put some star or something, so that when I'm reiterating through all of it, I spend some more time trying to make use of that particular clue. This is how I solve the arrangement sets, and most of the time when I'm reiterating through all of this, and when I focus more on the important clues, most of the time I'm able to crack the arrangement set. And arrangement set again are often asked. So this is something that you should focus on. Let me look at some more questions, and after that I'll continue with this. Guys, we have 150 people who are watching this stream live. Please do like the stream. If you like the stream, then we can easily cross 200 likes, and if we get 200 likes, it is a good achievement for us. We feel that, okay, whatever sessions we are doing are useful to people, and we will be incentivized to conduct these kind of streams more often. Mahesh Joshi is saying, yes sir, Kraku daily tests are amazing. Thanks a lot, Mahesh. I am very happy that you are finding them useful. Shiva Bodhaya Ganachari is saying, how about cubes and cuboids? Cubes and cuboids haven't been asked in the last 4-5 years. But again, it makes some sense for you to know the basics of cubes, and no need of cuboids, but definitely of cubes. Because if you solve a few sets, who knows, if a set comes, you'll be able to get that entire set correct. And it's not a very difficult concept. You have to just know how to count the cubes, how many sides of the cubes are painted. So it is basically just one concept. So spend some time in understanding it. Even though it hasn't been asked in the last 4-5 years, it is good to know. Siddharth Raj is saying, sir, I'm able to do the sets, but it is taking 20 minutes or more. How to build speed? Don't worry about it. If you are able to solve a set in 20 minutes, you should be very happy. At this point of time, you still have around 90 days, 90 to 100 days. If you are getting a set correct in 20 minutes, you should be fairly happy. Don't worry about it. Just build your confidence and solve as many sets as you can. Because slowly on the day of the examination, your speed will increase. You have to just believe in the process. And on the day of the examination, you don't need to answer all the 4 sets. If you are getting 2 sets correct, you will get a very good percentile. So don't worry about time. Just focus on solving as many sets as you can. Mayur is saying, what is your strategy to attempt the sets? Basically, what is your order of solving the sets? So this again I have mentioned earlier, but I'll again repeat it. First, when the LRDI section starts, in general, even before the LRDI section starts, in verbal, in the last 2-3 minutes, I kind of zone out. Unless it is super crucial, but in verbal, it is never super crucial. There is nothing that, okay, I'm very close to solving a set. The last 2 minutes are super important. That never really happens in verbal. In verbal, in the last 2-3 minutes, you are nearly done, you are kind of fairly tired out. And even if you really invest your brain, you won't be making a lot of progress. LRDI, in the clunch movement, in the last 2-3 minutes, sometimes you solve a set and you need to use your entire brain very intensively. But verbal is not like that. So essentially the last 2-3 minutes of verbal, I kind of zone out. I take it easy, as in I won't completely relax, but I take it easy. I am not very intense. So that when LRDI starts, my brain is afresh. My brain is not feeling that, okay, I'm completely spent now, I need a couple of minutes to relax. That doesn't happen. Once LRDI starts, I spend the first 2 minutes going through all the 4 sets. Every set, I spend at least 15 to 20 seconds to kind of get an idea about how this set is. What is the type of set that this is. Like I mentioned, there are not a lot of different types of LRDI sets. There are only few types that can definitely be, you can at least box them as this particular type of set. Sometimes completely new sets come, but many times you can box in particular LRDI set. And particular LRDI sets which I know I'll be able to answer in 10 minutes, those are the ones that I answer first. What are they? One of them is, like I mentioned, charts. The second one is, say, Venn diagrams. If there is a 4-parameter Venn diagram or a maxima minima kind of a Venn diagram or a simple arrangement set, those are sets which I know I'll be able to get in the first 10 minutes. And it is very important for me to get the first set correct in the first 10 minutes because that gives me a lot of confidence. So that is how I make a priority order. About the first set is very important. I will try to select the easiest set because once I get one set correct, my mindset changes. I'm not nervous. I'm not under pressure. And then I try to make a priority order that, okay, this set seems to be easy. Next, I'm going to attempt the second easiest set, then third easiest set, and finally fourth easiest set. I ideally target getting the first set correct in the first 10 minutes. Second set, I try to get correct in the next 15 minutes. And the last 15 minutes, I try to use for the last 2 sets. I know that I'm not going to get both the sets correct, but like I mentioned, I either try to get one of the 2 sets correct, or at least partly I'll try to get both the sets correct. Pratik is saying, how can I identify the time consuming set before starting it? For example, in CAT 2021, the LR set had 4 variables, they were time consuming. Like I mentioned, if there is a Venn diagram set, I know that I'll get it correct in 10 minutes because it is not very difficult. It might involve some calculations, it might involve those kind of things, but if I spend 10 minutes, I'll get it correct. I won't get stuck in it midway. And if not 10 minutes, I'll get it correct in 12 minutes. It can happen that, okay, I thought it was easy, but the calculations are taking some more time. But if I give 2 more minutes, I'll get the set correct. But those are the kind of sets that I'll choose first, where the set I will definitely get correct in, I will try to get it correct in 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, or in the worst case scenario, 12 minutes. In a situation, I don't want to get stuck in it in the middle. Sometimes in arrangements, for example, there are multiple cases that are possible. There can be case A or case B or arrangement 1, arrangement 2. And for that, I actually look at the questions also. The questions are, if say one of the questions is how many different arrangements are possible. And then I know that, okay, it is not just one arrangement. Then I won't touch that set at the start because it gets confusing, it gets hectic. And you also are not confident whether you actually got the set correct or not because you might miss out on a particular case. So if I'm looking at the questions and I know that there is only one particular arrangement that is possible, then I might attempt it at the start. Where I know that if I crack that set, I'll get all the 4 questions correct. I don't have to solve each of the question on an individual level. Those questions I don't attempt first. The questions which if I put some more time, I'll get the set correct and I'll be able to get all the 4 questions correct or 6 questions correct. Those are the kind of sets I attempt first. Sometimes I get stuck, I make a mistake where I select a wrong set, but I cut my losses very quickly. If after the first 4-5 minutes I'm not making headway, I cut, I go to some other set, the next set in my priority order. But I won't waste a lot of time brooding or getting nervous or stressed out because I need to get one set correct as soon as possible. That is how I look at my mindset. Ajay Shirali saying, long time no see. I'm actually streaming quite often, so I don't know what you're saying. Praful Paraskar is saying, crash course is applicable for working professional. How to use it by working professional? Like I mentioned, crash course involves dedicated effort of around 3 to 4 hours every day. If you're a working professional, if you're especially working from home, you can easily take out 3 to 4 hours every single day. If you're a working professional who has to go to office, even then I would expect you to take 3 to 4 hours on a daily basis. Maybe take 1 hour in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, or 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. Cut down on the things that are not important. These 3 months, you have to focus on CAT preparation. So you should be able to put in 3 to 4 hours every single day. You have to prioritize yourself. You don't go, try not to go out with your friends for dinners or pubs or anything. Don't go to movies. Just focus on the examination. Akku is saying today it was Einstein puzzle class and Saili ma'am taught us the same kind of question. Einstein's puzzles are often asked, so it is important for you to know them. Okay, the next kind of sets that are asked are Venn diagrams. Venn diagrams, especially 4-parameter Venn diagrams, is something that I would recommend you to be quite comfortable with. You should know how to represent that data. If you know how to represent a 4-set Venn diagram, you'll get that set correct. 4-set Venn diagram essentially will involve, as an example, something like there is a housing society which has 400 families. Each family will either read 1 newspaper or 2 newspapers or 3 newspapers or 4 newspapers. So there is an overlap involved, and the 4 newspapers are also given, say A, B, C, D. You are given some clues that the number of families which read only A is particular number. The number of families which read A and B but not C is particular number. The number of families which read A and D but not B and C is particular number. Something on those lines is given. Now, if somebody doesn't know how to represent this information, they are completely like flabbergasted. But if somebody knows how to represent a 4-set Venn diagram, they'll easily solve this set correct and they'll get all the questions correct. So that is another set that I would recommend you to know. In addition to Venn diagrams, there is a related concept of maxima and minima. Basically, you will be asked questions like what is the maximum number of people who read 2 newspapers? What is the maximum number of people who read exactly 3 newspapers? This is related to Venn diagrams. Again, not very difficult, although slightly more trickier than the basic Venn diagrams. But again, these are kind of questions that are asked. So you should be comfortable with answering these kind of sets also. The last 3 are games and tournaments. Games and tournaments, basically, most of the questions that are asked involve round robin games and tournaments. So you are given a table which shows, for example, 5 teams, the number of goals scored, number of goals conceded, what is the number of points that they got across each of the groups. So in a round robin format. These are often asked, at least 1 or 2 is asked every 1-2 years. So these are also things I would recommend you to do. The next type of questions that are asked are scheduling questions. Scheduling questions basically involve, like say 5 patients are going to a doctor. There is one guy who goes to a doctor before another guy. One guy spends more time. So basically you are given clues and you have to figure out what is the entry point of each of the 5 patients and what is the exit point of each of the 5 patients. Some scheduling kind of sets. These are also sets that are asked. Again, all of these sets are available in both Krakow daily targets as well as Krakow mocks. The last kind of set which is asked is selection based criteria. So basically you are told that you have to select a team. You are given a squad. The squad involves say 10 batsmen. It also involves say 10 bowlers and say 3 goalkeepers or 3 wicket keepers. And you are told that if a particular bowler is playing, a particular batsman doesn't play. Another clue is that okay, a particular wicket keeper and a batsman are very good friends. So either both of them should be in the team or both of them should not be in the team. And finally, the questions that come are basically the number of arrangements that are possible. You are told that okay, if this particular guy is in the team, what are the number of arrangements that are possible? If this particular guy is in the team, then which of the following guys should definitely be in the team? Those kind of questions which are based on criteria of selection are also asked. Again, as I mentioned, all of these sets, the best place for you to get enough practice is Krakow daily targets. So definitely use it if you are enrolled to the Krakow daily targets. I'll be answering 3 more questions and after that we'll end the stream. Muskan Agarwal is saying, please repeat the important topics. Okay, I'll repeat the important topics. First is charts, and there are different types of charts: pie charts, bar charts, line charts, and spiderweb. The next thing is arrangements. Einstein's puzzles, arrangements, circular arrangements, linear arrangements. These are all come under arrangements. Next is Venn diagrams, and a related topic for Venn diagrams is maxima and minima. Next is games and tournaments, and games and tournaments mostly focused on round robin format. Games and tournaments also involve knockout tournaments wherein there are like say 64 seats or 128 seats. Each of them is knocked out, one of the guys knocked out in every match. Those kind of sets, the knockout format, are not often asked, but round robin are often asked. Next is scheduling. Like I mentioned earlier, there are like say 5 guys who enter a mall and each one of them enters at a particular time and exits at a particular time. You are given certain clues. You have to figure out who entered first, who entered next, all of those things. And the last one is selection based on some criteria. Okay, I'll be answering 2 more questions and then we'll end the topic. Shivani Shivkumar is saying, sir, how long should we take to read through the sets in the beginning? I don't take more than 2 to 3 minutes in going through all the sets. I don't read all the clues. I don't do that. When I look at a set, I spend around 30 seconds to identify what topic it is from. Like I mentioned, I gave you all the important topics, right? Sometimes I can easily figure out that, okay, this is a set in arrangements, or I can figure out that this is a set in scheduling. And if it is in, say, arrangements, I also look at the 4 questions or the 6 questions. I try to figure out if this is uniquely solvable. Sometimes a set you can easily solve. Once you solve the set, you are getting one particular diagram, one particular order, and once that is done, you can attempt all the 4 questions without doing any more work. Those are the kind of sets that I attempt first. Sometimes each of the questions are individual questions. They are related to the group, but every question you have to solve independently. For example, in the selection based criteria that I mentioned, if you are told that in one question you are told that if this guy is there, which other person will be there? That is one individual question. The second question is if another guy is there, then which other guy will not be there? So here there are multiple cases that are possible, and every question you have to attempt individually. So those are sets that I don't attempt first. Joydeep Ghosh is saying, sir, I scored 21 in Dashcat 8. How to improve the score? 21 in Dashcat 8, it depends on each of the sections. If you are looking to improve your score, in general, when you are attempting CAT, I would recommend you to focus on one section which you are confident about. Because you should feel that, okay, this is the section, I'm confident about it. In that one particular section, I'll at least score 25 marks. It is not very difficult. And mostly that should be either verbal or quant. You should focus on one of these two so that you at least build a base. You feel that, okay, this is a section, I'm going to use it to increase my overall percentile. That is where you are essentially attacking. And the remaining sections you are defending. You feel that, okay, in the remaining 2 sections, I have to cross a particular percentile mark. And that is how I would approach taking mocks from now on, and the examination also. And for each of these topics, each of these sections, there are different videos that I have made where I discussed in detail how you can improve in verbal, how you can improve in quant, and now I discussed how you can improve in LRDA also. Okay guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Please do like the stream and please do subscribe to our channel.